All right, welcome to the Oil Stream post-game show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola with you. So is YouTube Trev. I'm in the EST Satellite Studios, a.k.a. my place just outside of Ice District. Matt Kassian, our game analyst, will be joining us shortly as the Oilers fall 5-2 to the Nashville Predators. I see you, Nasty Chat. I see you. It's humming already, and the texts are flying in. My goodness. Woof, uncle. What the hell was that? All of these thoughts, all of these things are being said. There's plenty of expletives flying. I mean, I'm walking out of the arena with 7-8 minutes left to go, and the masses are already leaving, and people are saying, what the hell's going on with this team, Tom? They don't have it. This team doesn't have it. That was just another putrid display for this Oilers team. Someone said in the nasty chat as we were getting ready to get going, cup or bust. Well, I guess they chose bust. Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing right now. You saw it on the looks from the players on their faces when the clock ticked down. They showed a shot of Connor McDavid, just the 1,000-mile stare. You know, I was saying Jay Woodcroft, the 1,000-mile stare. One time, Jay Woodcroft didn't have an answer for some of the problems, and now we're seeing it on the players' faces. This is rock bottom. And you know what's sad is, after a nice Sunday, the Oilers play good at Commonwealth. They get the win in the Heritage Classic. People are like, all right, let's go. You knew it was going to be tough against the Dallas Stars. They have some good looks in that game. They lose it because they shoot themselves in the foot. Well, guess what? Today was supposed to be a nice Saturday for the Oilers. You handle Nashville generally quite well. They did it a few weeks ago in Nashville. And today, Nashville threw it right back in the Oilers' faces. The Predators were the far superior team. Yes, the Oilers had some opportunities. Yes, they had some looks. Yes, they opened up the scoring. But my goodness, I'm seeing lifeless, gutless, no energy, no pride. All of the opposite traits Kostin and Yamamoto brought to the team. Edmonton broke Calgary in the playoffs 2 years ago, and it sure looks like Vegas broke the Oilers. That comes in from Brian in the TAC. And look, that's probably one of the nicer ways of putting it and describing the situation right now from Brian in the TAC, because this team has no jam, no juice, no determination, no grit. This stinks for this Oilers team. Simply put. Matty Kassian will be joining us right away. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. If you're listening on the audio stream or via TuneIn on your way from the game, let us know your thoughts. I mean, that one had all kinds of stank all over it. The nasty chat humming along nicely. Keep those coming in, and we will dip into the nasty chat as much as possible. This one from Next Gen Leap says, how does Ken Holland still have a job? Well, this is it for him. This is his last year. So I know a lot of people have brought up the Ken Holland thing. He's already got a foot out the door, basically. So I don't know if a changing of the guard at GM right now does much. They've backed themselves into this corner. This is the group that they're going to have to get it done with. I don't know if there's a trade out there. Someone was texting me during the game, among many people, saying, hey, even if they try to pull off a deal, they're going to get scalped. They're going to get absolutely destroyed in any kind of trade that they try to make. So, yeah, for a lack of a better term, and that's not a great one. So this is not good. This is not good. An absolute tire fire was another term that was used. 780-218-9999. And I see Cass is just about ready to go. So let's get into the game summary and the stats from tonight. In the first period, it was Darnell Nurse opening up the scoring on the power play. Power play 2 gets a shift to start a power play, and they actually score. Nurse off the post, off the back of Kevin Lankinen in his second of the season at 9:57. Ekholm and McLeod, the helpers on that one. Then Philip Forsberg, shortly after, 25 seconds later to be exact. I don't know what Jack Campbell was doing on this goal. He overcommitted on the one side and gave Philip Forsberg nothing but time to casually wrap it around and put it into what was a mostly open net. O'Reilly and Del Gazzo the assist on that one at 10:22. 1-1 after one in that second period. Ryan O'Reilly takes over. He gets his 5th of the year, a slapper to make it 2-1 Nashville just 23 seconds in. It was a slap shot, and then O'Reilly fends off. Was it Darnell Nurse? And then he bags home. Or no, that was the 2-on-1. The next one that he scores right after was one where he fends off Darnell Nurse, and Jack Campbell made the save, but the puck sits at his feet, and O'Reilly pots home the garbage for his sixth to make it 3-1 at 3:24. That goal coming on the power play, so 3-1 Nashville at that point. The Oilers do respond to cut the lead. Zach Hyman off the Evan Bouchard slap pass, if you will. Redirection for Hyman off his foot and in. Just right time, right place. Good play by Bouchard. McDavid, the secondary assist, that one on the power play at 5:08. But Tommy Novak would restore the 2-goal lead for the Preds, his 6th of the year. He gets into a foot race with Vinny Desharnais, and Desharnais was a step or two behind. Not that he's the fastest guy, but he made a bad read in the offensive zone, gave Novak an opportunity and an opening. Novak finds it, gets the puck from Evangelista. Yossi, the secondary assist. Novak buries on the partial break, 15-15 time of that goal to make it 4-2. And then the third period to just put this one on ice. I mean, this 5th goal sums it up, I think. And Cass, you could chime in on this one. But the 5th goal was an absolute disaster, a domino effect of mistakes in the Oilers zone. They were getting caved in, and Ryan O'Reilly scores. The puck goes in, and then it goes in so quick, nobody on the ice really picked up on it. I'm like, did my eyes just deceive me, or did that go in? And then it goes around. They keep playing. Both teams keep playing. The refs let the play go on. And then they score again. They scored twice in like a 15-second sequence. So really, the Preds scored 6 times tonight. They had to review it, and they gave it to O'Reilly, the Hattie, his 7th of the season, to make it 5-2 at 8:22 from Carrier and Forsberg. Shots 35-34 in favor of the Oilers. Lots of perimeter shots. They got dummied on the faceoff dot, 66 to 39.9% or 33.9%. Power play for the Oil, 2 for 3. That's good. PK, 3 for 4. Leaks one again, as per usual. Hits 29-24 in favor of Edmonton. Block shots 16-6 in favor of the Preds. Cass, go for it, buddy.
Oh boy, where to start with this one? There's a lot. Wasn't this game just like a summary of the season thus far, Tom?
Yeah,
like, I don't even. I was hoping so much that they would come out of the gate from the start and just be all over Nashville, that they would have that intensity, that aggressiveness, that jump, that drive, just the push. And it was just like there was nothing all over again. Your best players were, I don't want to say they were non-existent, but 5-on-5, they were non-existent.
No.
Weren't able to generate much. I mean, you had a couple good shifts where they spent some good time in the offensive zone and maybe got some chances, but again, no finish. Here's maybe where I'm going to sum it up.
Yeah, go for it.
There was a stretch I think it was in the third period, when the Edmonton Oilers had a couple rushes for, and they missed the net like 4 times in a row. Wide, far side, and broke
far
the Predators
side wide. Draisaitl comes to mind.
About 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
McLeod stick handling the puck in extra time before shooting. Like that to me is just, that's how their season, that's how it's gone. It's just been that.
You handled that very calmly, because I'm going to go into the inbox here and the nasty chat, and it is absolute mayhem. This one comes in from Pillman, says, Tommy, what the hell is this BS? Brutal. Don't know what to do now, but enjoy an ice cold Pilsner and hope they figure it out. Happy Saturday and have a good show. Pillman, thank you. This show is going to be pretty fired up. That's for damn sure. Dirty Curdy's got a big one for us tonight. Says, was in row 13 for this atrocity. Both McDavid and Dry with mediocre 5-on-5 efforts, making hope plays and on the wrong side of the puck for much of the game. Nurse with 2 putrid plays on goals. Jack Shambles is back. Did our 600 save percentage in high dangers go down even further? This will unfairly cost Woody his job, but this leadership core hasn't responded to the adversity, and that's damning. Too cute around the net. The shift on the 5-2 goal went in twice to add insult to our abhorrent D play and goaltending. Up next, the team that's run our show all year. That's from Dirty Curdy, and he's alluding to the Vancouver Canucks Monday night in Vancouver. And too cute around the net. I think,
Yeah.
you're touching on that a little bit with the shots wide that rim around and go back the other way. We've seen that bite the Oilers in the butt in this first 10 games where they are 2-7-1 on the season, and they haven't learned their lesson. I don't know why you're shooting for the far post at this point when you know it's been an absolute problem for the team in general among many players,
Well,
and
the
it's cost you
problem,
goals.
it's not just the problem. Well, the reason it's a problem, Tom, is that breaks out the other team. Like you're a
Exactly.
team that's struggling with rush chances against, and everyone's going one direction, and you miss the net far side. All of a sudden, the puck's coming back at you with speed, and generally, you're giving up, or not generally, but sometimes you're giving up an odd man rush in that. But
And
I,
yeah.
Dirty Curdy brought up a lot of really good stuff. I mean,
Yes.
the cute around the net. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a problem again today. I don't know if he mentioned lack of emotion. Once again, I mean, I think there was some times where I liked Evander Kane's game again tonight. Like I thought he was, he was physical. He was around it a little bit. But from top to bottom, a lack of emotion, certainly again, and maybe not feeling emotion. They may be feeling emotion, but a lack of expressed emotion or a lack of using the emotion to motivate and drive and to manifest itself in playing better.
Right.
So it's, they may be feeling the negative emotion, but it's wallowing in it versus using it and motivating.
Man.
What else did Dirty Curdy bring? I mean, there's a lot
Dirty
there.
Dirty Curdy, yeah, he pointed to a lot of things. And I'm going to go to this one from Braden. Braden and I kind of went back and forth because we're talking about Broberg on the pregame show. And, Braden earlier was saying, hey, you pinpointed Broberg and we're a bit unfair. And I was like, no, listen, we did highlight Broberg's mistake in the last game. It got him sent down. He'll be called back up. And then we had a good exchange. But Braden brings up a couple points here. And Cass, we'll get your thoughts on this obviously as well. But Braden says, Tom, you're going to acknowledge that if Nurse continues to play soft in front of his own net, the Oilers will not win. He has no compete level. He's always standing around, never taking away players' sticks. It's ugly. And I'm sorry, in the cap era, it's always going to come back to your cap number. When you're making 9.25, you're expected to be at the Yossi, Makar, Fox, McAvoy level. And unfortunately, he's not there. I agree with that. Absolutely, Braden. So his cap dollar hurts the team. Yes. And we have said it is a bad ticket, especially with the way Nurse has been playing. But we'll get into more of it. That being said, the goaltending is horrid, and this all falls on the shoulders of Ken Holland. It's time he's fired. Start the search for the next GM and hope like hell the Oilers can sneak into that number 8 spot. That's from Braden. Braden, good text. Thank you. Good back and forth. Nurse was soft on the O'Reilly play. And O'Reilly.
Two of them.
Two of them. Yes,
Two
exactly. We can absolutely acknowledge that. And yes, we know that it's a bad ticket. We know that the cap hit is awful.
It's not worth talking about that part of it, though.
I know, and we acknowledge it. That's what I'm saying, Cass.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he has been rough at times this season, and it's sad because we're only 10 games in. But so have other guys. Like Desharnais had some bad shifts tonight. Broberg, who's now sent down, had some bad shifts. Evan Bouchard, who we talked about at length post game Thursday, has had like rough moments. Matthias Ekholm, who's I think generally been their best defenseman. And it's not saying much considering how bad the defense has been this year. And he's coming off of injury. He hasn't looked like the Ekholm from last year. Cody Ceci might be the most consistent Oiler defenseman. And Brett Kulak seems to be quietly better. But even him, you're going, what's going on? This defense, Cass, it ain't happening. And they're also trying to cover up mistakes by the forwards too.
Yeah, well, we can't forget the forwards' contribution to this. I mean, you give up odd man rushes. It's easy to pick on a defenseman sometimes because it's like you see a bad pinch.
Yeah,
but there have been a plethora of times when forwards have either just completely missed assignments on a back check or have got caught down low in the offensive zone. And odd man rushes come back against the defenseman, and and it's burned them. even if we look at that O'Reilly goal and we look at Draisaitl chasing around the net, if he doesn't follow him around the net and he stops strong side post, that might free up. I think it was Cody Ceci. There was would have been on that side. It frees up Cody Ceci to not worry about the man in front, and he can go hold the new strong side post where the Forsberg wraparound is coming from. So forwards they're just as much at fault, I think. Especially, I mean, how many times, Tom, have we broke down this year in rush chances against where the forwards have just gone and done something crazy, gone to who they're not supposed to, not communicated with the defenseman. And there's, I'm not saying it's just the forward's fault, but it's not just the defenseman's fault either. It's everybody. And that's been the problem, Tommy, is that it's been everybody. And I know people, and it was, I think Dirty Curdy may have mentioned it. Someone mentioned it. I know I've seen a whole bunch in the nasty chat about this and the Fire Dustin Schwartz comments. And I'm like, this is not, and it has not been, was not tonight, a goaltending issue again. It's like, okay, they have a low, high danger chance save percentage.
Yeah. Oh, both guys.
But they're going to when you keep giving up backdoor tap-ins. Like, they're going to. They're going to. Now, the Forsberg wraparound goal, that was a bad goal. That one was.
Yes.
I mean,
yes, 100%.
Overslid, overplayed it, overcommitted. Should have been more holding on his post. He should have had his, and I texted Gage about this, but I was like, shouldn't he have had his foot anchored to the post, or had it close enough to where it was a simple push to be able to get the leverage to get a better push across?
That's what I was thinking.
Push across. That's what I thought. So that one wasn't very good. But really, to sit and blame, their record on the goaltending, to me it just still doesn't make sense. It's not the goaltending. It's the team from top to bottom. And I think it was Gord P in the nasty chat that said, I have no idea where we go from here. And Tom, I feel pretty much the exact same way. I have no idea where you go from here.
A few themes keep popping up in regard to, how do you fix this? How do you get out of this jam? And Oil Country tends to do this because they care about this team passionately. We know that. And so people look at the coach. I think the heat is cranked up on Jay Woodcroft already. I don't know if there's a succession plan in place right now. Like, I don't think anybody expected them to be 2-7-1 after 10 games.
No, how could they have one? Because no one expected this at all.
No. The GM thing has popped up quite a bit, and we read it a couple texts.
You're not changing that in
There's a foot out the door already for Ken Holland.
Yeah.
They're working on their plan of succession already. So getting rid of him in November as opposed to whenever the Oilers are done, whether right now it's early April or if they get their crap together and manage to find their way into the postseason whenever they're done there, they'll say, thank you, Ken. We appreciate your 5 years of service. And he'll, and exit stage left or whatever. A big trade. People want a big trade. They're in cap hell right now.
Who are you going to trade? You're not trading. I see someone throwing out a Darnell Nurse in the nasty chat. You're not trading Darnell Nurse. Like, who's going to trade for Darnell Nurse? Like,
yeah.
Who are you going to move?
Yeah. They are between a rock and a hard place right now. And I'm going to say it again. They have only themselves to blame for putting them into this spot. And we talked about the system, adjustments to the system. It's an execution of the system. And they don't execute. The heart, the determination, the will to win. Cass, it's like barely registering on the meter. It maybe gets to a 15, 20% from a night-to-night basis. And then when the game's out of hand, they kind of pour it on.
They do, but they pour it on when the game's out of hand, and it's like, oh, we're gonna really push and really get, and it's just like, where's that before? And it's not, and I don't doubt in the dressing room that they're saying, we need to go, let's go, we need to be better, let's go. They're saying that, and I think I said this a couple of weeks ago. The time for just saying things it's long gone.
Do stuff.
It's past. Do stuff. Yeah, just do stuff. Do something.
Please.
do something. And it just doesn't feel like there's very many guys that are. And the guys that are not your best players at this point. And if they can kind of pull guys along a little bit. And we saw some of that from Evander Kane,
Yeah.
the Dallas game, Sam Gagner. But it still didn't wake up your big guns. Now McDavid maybe still dealing with the injury. I
Yes.
get that.
Yeah.
Maybe not the same. But from top to bottom to a man,
My
as a
goodness.
team, there's just the will to win is not there right now. And that to me is like, you could change a coach, you could change a GM, you could try to make a trade, you could pull guys up like you already done from Bakersfield, or send guys down, or maybe scratch somebody, or give them less minutes, or whatever you want to do. But until you, as a collective, actually have that will to win, it's just not going to happen, which is just so bizarre, Tom, based on where this team was last year. It's just bizarre.
780-218-9999. The Oilers fall 5-2 to the Nashville Predators. Another lackluster performance and a result. And the team now sits at 2-7-1 through the first 10 games of the 23-24 season. Nasty chat going strong. We're going to pluck some comments out of there for sure. This one comes in from Nasher. Says, honest question for Cass and Gaz. Why is it that the teams who come to play the Oilers know the game plan, in parentheses, shut down Draisaitl, McDavid, pay attention to details, and commit to their systems not only well, but are running away with games against the Oil when Edmonton is at home? Meanwhile, the Oilers know the game plan, system, etc., and are just getting owned in almost every scenario. Is it the players' egos? Is it coaching? Is it Woodcroft not communicating effectively? I get it that defense/goaltending is currently bottom of the league, but then implement a system that shuts down the opposing team's offense, capitalizes on their mistakes. In other words, do exactly what the other teams do when they come into your barn and beat them handily. Easier said than done, but it's just so obvious that teams who play against the Oilers follow the coach's lead/tactics and shut the Oilers down.
Well, they
Thoughts from
know
Nasher?
they have to. That's easy. That's the easy thing in a lot of ways against Edmonton, is like, what the game plan is. Now, it can be hard to execute if they're playing well, because McDavid and Draisaitl are so good, but it's stay out of the box, try to slow these guys down. And the third one, which I say the book is out on the Edmonton Oilers, is pressure their defensemen, force them to make mistakes.
And they're making mistakes.
Force them to make mistakes. I want to jump on a nasty chat from Fort Sask Mike, who says, come on, Cass. Disagrees with me. Vegas goes and traded for Aiden Hill, and he becomes a rock for them. Waive Campbell and move out Janmark with a good pick and get a decent backup. Highest paid GM in the league, ... A few things. Let's go to Aiden Hill, and let's go to the Vegas Golden Knights. The Vegas Golden Knights have an immense will to win.
Yeah.
And so if we take Campbell or Skinner right now and we would have put them in that same situation, I do not doubt that they would have had success, because it wasn't like Aiden Hill was absolutely robbing the bank with his gameplay. He had a team around him that was able to execute. And guess what? Vegas plays his own defense, similar to just about everybody else. I do appreciate that, though. I appreciate the thought. I just disagree. And I'm not saying goaltending has been perfect this year. To me, it's like, you get the best goalie in the world right now, and if your team doesn't execute at all, you're still not stopping backdoor tap-ins, one-timers, cross ice, where you're having to push, post to post, and you're throwing out a pad and a prayer that you're going to make a save. So can goaltending be better? Of course it can be better, but there is a laundry list. I mean, it's just like that to me is like, if I'm making my list, that's towards the end of the list, not at the front of the list. Again, so I'm not saying it hasn't been an issue at all, but there have just been too many nights where they've been absolutely hung out to dry. Like, how many tight games, Tom, have we had? Because this one ultimately wasn't a tight game, where we've been like, they just needed that one save. Now, some people threw that at us post game against Dallas.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Okay. But the one goal we're talking about in that one happened in the first period, and the Oilers tied it after that point. So it's kind of a moot, like, well, it doesn't really matter, because the rest of the game changes after that. And the other goals, there were nothing they could really do on them. So, yeah, I mean, there's issues. Another one that came in, Tom, that I think maybe you hit this one here is the biggest thing that has changed is Jackson coming in. Has
Yeah.
that changed something in the dressing room?
I never thought of that. Do you think, Cass, you would be better to give me the players' rationale on this when you have a new CEO that has taken over? And I know things trickle down from the top, and this is Jeff Jackson's first time at the helm of a team in that level. He was, I think, he was an assistant GM with the Marlies in Toronto before he became an agent, something along those lines. So this is something I think we didn't really hit on. So what, as a player or as people at the hockey ops level, coaches, players, training staff, how would it have an effect on them,
I
if
don't
you
think it
will?
does.
Okay.
Unless you have like a whole attitude shift and he's this big mean guy and everyone's mean all of a sudden. Like you're not, there's
He's
not going to
not.
be, no.
He's not.
No, and those changes, the changes that are made at that level, typically, it's going to take some time to implement. It's not a day one, where everything all of a sudden is completely different. So I don't think it impacts it at all. Um, I don't think it impacts it at all. Morgan is in, says, "Hi Tom, you're really good looking. LOL!" Exclamation point. Handsome Tom Gazzola. That's what we call you when usually you're not listening. So yeah, absolutely, Tom. You're looking sharp
Oh,
as
oh, thank
usual.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Gager's actually on his way here. I have to let him in. Cass, do you want to take a couple of
Yeah,
comments
I'll
and,
take
and
I'll
chime?
take
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
I'll
So I
take
think
it.
Gager wants to get in on the show. So I'll be right back. Okay.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, Gator's probably fired up. I don't know if he's wearing the leather today. Don't know if he's wearing the leather today. I want to go back into the nasty chat, scrolling up because I think there's someone said or made a mention of no one asking in the post game scrum, which we'll get to from Jay Woodcroft at some point here about the distribution of ice time. Now, when we break it down, some of the young guys not playing as much. You got Holloway in at 6 minutes and 31 seconds. Lavoie gets a little bit more than Holloway at 9 minutes 25 seconds. Ryan also on the low end at 10:40. Not necessarily the most top heavy game we've seen from the guys with the forward group, anyways. With McDavid coming in at 22:44 and Draisaitl coming in at where are you, Leon? Right there, 20 minutes and 1 second. Now you have to factor in penalties too, Tommy. That's something we didn't talk about yet. Was I thought it was another poor night, and I know they only give up one, but I thought they took some unnecessary penalties. And mental penalties. I mean, I get Hyman's too many men on the ice, like trying to make a play on that puck, not wanting to give up a 2-on-1. That's a penalty, but that's also recognition. Skating off the ice, guy jumping on the ice. You have to be aware of where the puck is and what's going on. It's not, even if you're on the power play, it's not just a blind rush across the ice to hop in the bench. I mean, if you have full possession, sure. But if it's like a 50-50 puck, you have to read and assess. And that just kind of goes in, throw it on the pile of mental problems and mental mistakes that this team has just made and continued to make.
All right, Cass. Sorry, Gager is here. He asked him if you want to hop on. He said, "Nope. You don't want in." No. He says no. He just put in his shift over on Sportsnet, so he's looking pretty sharp himself over there. Okay, let's dip into the inbox. Cass, if I hope to God I didn't read any of the ones that you went through because
I just
I
stuck with the
won't.
nasty chat, Tom. So if you're dipping
Okay.
the other inbox, we're good.
Okay, so we'll go to the inbox here, and the text line has just been humming. This one says, "Good news is Jeff Jackson is at the helm now. He has brought in a big analytics hire, so they're seeing all the numbers we're seeing, and I think they're going to be a lot more proactive with fixing what Holland has done in the past. Patience is his greatest strength, but also his greatest weakness." Thanks for that, Hontorio Momes. Cozy says, "Tommy, I'm so tired of everyone blaming who's in the office. How about looking at the guys on the ice and not giving any effort on the ice?" Cozy, I'm with you. And I think, Cass, you back me up on this. It is those guys that are playing. I mean, it's just, It's not there. This one says, it is Coffee's, Jackson's, or Holland's job to fix this. I can't tell, and I'm not sure they know. Typical Kate's chain of command. No name on that text. Another one from Greg in the Grove says, hey guys, I just left the game. It was sloppy, uninspired, and predictable. The only player earning an honest paycheck is Warren Foegele. My son and I both commented on nearly falling asleep in the third. That's from Greg and T in the Grove. And honestly, Cass, I think Warren Foegele was the Oilers' best player today.
Yeah. Uninspired is a great word.
Yeah.
That was a great word. Very, very uninspired. And Foegele again, and he's been a guy that's been pretty consistent. I mean, Cody Ceci has been quiet defensively, but aside from one bad pinch in the Dallas game, like he's been all right. Cody Ceci's been pretty solid. Warren Foegele has been the most consistent forward by landslide.
That's a
by
problem.
an absolute landslide. Yeah.
That's a problem.
That is a problem. And that's, good for Warren Foegele. I don't want to take anything away from him, but he's not your best player.
No.
He's not one of your top 3 players, probably not in your top 5 or 6 players, but he's been the most consistent. Other guys got to get to that level. Baggy Lean on the nasty chat. For those of you with higher technical knowledge of the game, what has changed about the defensive system itself? Well, they went from a zone defense, Baggy Lean, to his own defense. So they switched up a little bit of the rotation inside the zone defense and responsibility, but it isn't and wasn't. It's not a drastic change. It's not a drastic change. And the system, I'll go tonight to 2 of the goals against. The system was not responsible for Darnell Nurse losing a battle in front twice. That's not the system.
No,
that's the execution. The entire season, it has been the execution, not the system. The entire season, it has been giving up high danger, rush chances against, backdoor tap-ins, one-timers cross ice, passes that aren't supposed to go through, have gone through, and you've left your goalies out to dry. That's been the issue. So Baggy Lean, without pulling it up and drawing too much on a piece of paper here that you can't see, and my drawings are horrible because I'm a horrible artist. My 3-year-old is already better at drawing than I am. The system isn't, in my opinion, the system isn't the issue. Not the issue, not the problem. So you know what? I wouldn't get too worried about what the difference is. Basically, they just back up a little bit more, collapse to the front of the net a little bit more, and that's kind of it.
All right. All I had to do was send him the link and twisted his rubber arm, gave him maybe a social sparkler, and Gager from my living room is going to join us. It looks like YouTube Trev will get him up and ready to rock, hopefully right away here.
Give me 1 minute. 1 minute here.
All right. We're going to get Gager on here. I want to get to a few more texts. The Wolf says, watching McDavid, fan on shots, sums up this start to this year. At least Gagne was playing hard down low, hard on the puck, and hard in the corner. That's from the Wolf. Brad from Vegas also getting in. No comment there from Brad. Sorry, he's just putting his name on a text. From a balcony in Banff, Phil hits us up. Sometime between May and October, Dr. Evil snuck into the room and stole the Oilers' mojo. Woody needs to fire up the Wayback Machine and get it back. And I'm only being semi-facetious. All right. Looks like Gager is almost ready to go. Trev's still working on that. Nothing from the Oilers locker room yet in terms of player audio or coach audio and video. We'll get to that shortly. And the nasty chat I could see is humming along. Dusty Nielsen, by the way, chimes in, says, guys, you can listen and watch the CFL on TSN. Dusty will be on the call. And then he also adds, Nasties, did Holloway get hurt? Why only 6 minutes? I only watched the first 40. Did you notice anything there, Cass?
Nope, didn't seem to get hurt. No mention of it. No, nothing. I don't think he got hurt, at least that we saw, unless it's something that they weren't talking about. I think he just didn't get played.
6:31 for Holloway. We saw Connor Brown take warm up, but he did not play. And we saw Raphael Lavoie make his debut, and Lavoie ended up with -1 with 3 hits and 9:25 time on ice. All right. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. And the nasty chat continues to go strong. Let's go into a few more texts. This one says, the Holland special coming. When he was in Detroit, this team stinks. Absolutely no accountability from top to bottom. Would it kill Woody to bench one of his top guys? Nurse, Leon, McDavid, CC, Hyman, a combined minus 13 today. Thanks, from Mark. How about benching them, taking away their cookies, Matty?
I mean, it's pretty hard to bench McDavid and Draisaitl, because who else are you going to roll out there and play those minutes? I guess that's the difficult thing about Jay Woodcroft's position is you don't have very many levers. You don't. You could start the second power play, every power play, give them the lion's share of it, for a game. Is that going to all of a sudden, communicate to the team and to your top guys that this isn't acceptable? You're not playing well enough. Like, they know it's not acceptable, and they know they're not playing well enough. Like, they know that. And the consequences are losing hockey games for those top guys. The consequences are losing hockey games. So I don't even know what you do. And that's where, as I said earlier, as some of the texters have said, can't remember, I think that was Gord that had said it, I'm at a loss. I don't even know what you do, because I don't think there's much you can do.
Oh. All right, here he is, smiling, looking sharp, Joaquin Gage from my kitchen, I believe. Gage, your take on what we saw tonight.
Well, it was hard enough just to get the camera angle, not to show too much of your place, Tommy. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have talked about this yet, and the most troubling thing for me tonight was Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl got outmatched by Ryan O'Reilly and Philip Forsberg. Their stars had more of an influence in a game where the Oilers stars didn't. And that to me, I don't think you could say that's happened maybe once or twice, but just the way the season's gone and seeing how they actually haven't been at their right level. It, like Cass said, it's this is an enigma wrapped in a puzzle that this team can't get it together yet. I just don't get it. I really don't.
It's a real quagmire, Gager.
It's a quagmire.
That's a big word. It's a quagmire. Ugh. Tommy, we think you're muted. So we'll give you a second here.
There I am.
There you go.
Yeah. I was going to say, just Big Uke sent in a text kind of along the lines of what Gager and you were talking about. It says, very deflated feeling right now as an Oilers fan. Also, where are Connor and Leon? Gager, from your point of view, you did the game today on Sportsnet. Like, how did you guys approach this whole scenario? What did Uncle Bob Stauffer have to say? Because Bob, he is passionate about everything that goes on with this team. Like, what was that conversation like on the broadcast?
Well, thank God Bob's got some U of A to go watch now with some football and some hockey to cheer him up, because I'm actually worried, Tommy. I thought I might have to follow him to the football game. No, it's again, it's so puzzling to see the out battling. Like, and I just cut me off if you've said this already, but Darnell Nurse losing massive battles against Ryan O'Reilly for goals.
Twice.
Twice it happened. And I'm just like, and look, there's a way to play defense, and granted, disclaimer, I was a goalie, but the best defensemen that I had ever that were in front of me always got themselves in a position to at least just take the stick against a physical player. Like, they use their brains, not their brawn in that type of situation, because usually your brains win out, and it's just everywhere. I felt bad for Lavoie tonight with the kind of give it, like he just tossed it out looking for things, and again trying to do a little bit too much in that case. Just hold on to the puck and be strong down low. Again, it ends up in the Oilers' net. Jack Campbell thought I thought he had a decent first period, but there were some saves there that your team needs you. You need to make a save. It's not working on any level with the Oilers right now. That's really, again, I don't have the answers because I'm racking my brain, Cass. I think you are as well, trying to find similar situations that we went into with a team that was supposed to do so well, and not have figured things out to this point in a young regular season yet.
Yeah, I just have no idea. Right? Like I have no idea. I have no idea because it's like an unprecedented situation where it's like, because sometimes what happens, and we've seen it happen, where you expect a team to be really good and they're just kind of average, like they're not as good as you thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
But rarely does it happen that you have a team that you expect is going to be really, really good, and then it's just like they haven't been good at all, and like that big of a you know drop or gap between actual play and expectations is just, I mean, I don't want to say it's completely unprecedented, but it feels completely unprecedented. Yeah, so I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Guys, I jokingly say, why can't the Oilers and Edmonton fans have nice things? It just feels like it doesn't happen ever for this franchise anymore. It's unbelievable. And you want to say it's outside factors? It isn't. It isn't. It really isn't. But it's unbelievable how they just can't have nice things. That's just an observation I've seen. I'm going to read this text. Text comes in from GSB, says, I feel like Woody is and isn't the problem. He's a very good coach and knows how to keep the team rolling when we're hot, but when we're in a jam, I don't think Woody is hard enough on the guys. Seems like he doesn't get angry / intimidating. Guys, Gager, what's your take on this?
Well, I mean, how are you going to get a coach's bump out of a group that's had so many coaches? How many bumps can you get? Like, it, to me, really, it comes down to the effort, the execution, and the skill of the Edmonton Oilers. And for the most part, except for their couple of wins, it hasn't been there.
No.
It's again, I don't understand how they look at the individual battling around the ice for pucks. Live, it's way worse to see because you're not always kind of puck focused. I had the ISO cam on a lot of different things watching live, and Tommy, it was a very pedestrian game. It looked, that's not the sign of a team that's angry or mad, and it's more like, oh, well, things will get together. No, someone's got to take the bull by the horns here.
It's passive, Gager. It's passive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it one bit. I mean, there was a play right away at the beginning of the game where complete lack of communication in their own end. Bouchard came off the bench to pick up the puck behind the net because a forward was handling it. And he came back so nonchalantly to grab the puck that I forget who the Predator player was, but I just remember he forced him, and all of a sudden the Predators get the puck, and they get like a couple good chances, and I'm just like, they're not ready to play this game. It boggles the mind to have that kind of mindset where you're not going at 110 miles an hour every single shift to get it done, and that's unfortunately, that's through the group. There was 3 guys that caught my eye live tonight. One was Warren Fogle. The other, Evander Kane, because he was in crashing and causing disruption. And I don't want to say unfortunately, but Sam Gagner was the only other kind of guy just grinding and being a bit of a nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I think I said this a couple 2 guys ago with ice bags. That was not a difficult game for the Nashville Predators by any means. That was handed to them on a silver platter.
Okay. That was well said. Ice bags, man. Yeah, they're probably flying to the next destination on this prolonged road trip. 11 days for the Preds, very comfortably, and probably enjoying a social sparkler on that plane trip for sure, without any pain, physical, and certainly not mental. Now, mental and physical pain, on the other hand, for the Edmonton Oilers, is probably a lot of that right now. Let's hear from the captain, Connor McDavid, and we'll get some thoughts from you guys after this.
Really similar to the other night. Thought we had a good start, and then just mental mistakes that just keep costing us over and over again and make us chase the game, and it's hard to chase games in this league.
Is that the frustrating part, Connor, is that you see what the issues are and you're just trying to resolve them, or what's the most frustrating part right now?
It's just death by 1,000 cuts, like that's what it feels like. It's just, like one mistake and it costs us another little mistake, and it kind of just snowballs. And like I said, it's tough to chase games.
Yourself, how are you feeling? Like, you're at 100%?
Yep.
It seems like, his team often plays with a lot of offensive mojo, but there hasn't been a lot of that. And then you're giving up quite a bit at the other end. Does it just feel like it's both ends? There's struggles right now?
Yeah, struggles all over the rink. That's what you get when you're 2-7-1. There's going to be struggles all over the ice.
The sense that you guys are going to pull out of this, where is that at? Early on the confidence was pretty high, and then as these losses pile up, is that whittling away?
Yeah, you know what? I hate to always talk about years previous, but last year we get off to a 7-3 start, then we go 3-7. We end up at 10-10. So, we've obviously started with the ladder there. These next 10 games are big for our group.
I know you put a lot of pressure on yourself, Connor, but it's been a few games since you've produced some goals and some offense. What are you feeling in your own game right now?
Certainly could be better, not at the level that I expect myself to be at.
All right, Cass. There's dejection there. He's
Yep.
had struggles offensively, which is incredible to say.
Yep. Yeah, and I think again you see the frustration, but I'm at a point with all these guys, and McDavid included in that. I think he's still the best player in the world by a mile, in my opinion. But it's just you got to show me. You got to show me that you're frustrated. Like have we seen? And I don't know if I buy the he's 100%. I don't know if I buy that.
I don't.
But it's like, okay, if this is what you're feeling, then show me. Because we haven't seen him completely take over a game and throw the team on his back and say, no, we're winning this hockey game. We haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen him do it. We haven't seen Draisaitl do it. We haven't seen anybody do it. Warren Fogle has tried to do it. Gagne has tried to do it. Evander Kane has tried to do it. But, Connor McDavid has to find a way to do that too. And again, best player in the world. I fully expect him to be able to, but the time for words is past, Tommy. The time for words is past. Gotta find a way to perform here, guys. You have to. You have to.
Gager, what do you take away from what we saw and heard from Connor McDavid there?
The eye test, Tommy, tells me that he's not at 100% because there's a lot of times on the ice where he initiates contact, and it looked to me that he can skate fast, he can shoot quick, but there's not that physical engagement that we saw in those first few games and at the latter part of last year. Leon, I think it's tough sometimes for skilled players trying to find their way. And Leon's just not engaged physically either.
Yeah.
And, it's funny because we saw what Evander Kane did after a few games not playing and kind of playing that perimeter style, and then he engages physically. If memory serves me correctly, if I'm going way back in the DeLorean and thinking about Sam Gagne, when he was struggling, he would actually get into a fight, and it seemed like to spark him, and he would get more engaged in the game and start producing on the score sheet. And I'm wondering, we always say to guys, "Oh, I got to get out there, take a hit, give a hit to get into the game." But with Connor, I don't think he's physically ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no reason why Leon Draisaitl can't not only dominate a game skill-wise, but with his physical play, he can do that as well. And it just when was the last time you saw Leon take the puck and just try to go to the net with it? It's always stopping up and looking to distribute the puck. And quite frankly, teams know it. They don't have to step up on them. They're just closing the gap and giving them nothing. It's I'm worried about these two right now because when your leaders aren't playing at when you have other guys playing at a level above the leadership of your group, that's tough.
Yeah. All right, Cass. Let's take a quick look ahead before we let you go. Gage, are you still okay to hang around for a couple more minutes?
Sure.
All right, awesome.
I'm in your
Appreciate
house, Tom. I can't
I know.
really go anywhere.
I know, and I want to have a beer with you after the show ends too.
Right.
So that beer is ready for.
That would be great if I just drank a beer and left and not said bye. That would be a great move, actually. Next time.
Veteran move if you pulled that off. If I come out of the studio and you're gone, I'm like, oh, brilliant, like a ninja. Okay, Cass. If this team is to try to avoid 2-8-1 by Monday night, and we're not going through this same damn conversation for the 8th time this year, 9th if you want to throw in the OT loss, what has to happen, man?
You got to deal with Vancouver's pressure because they're going to bring it and they're going to smell blood. They're going to smell blood. They're going to say this Oilers group is a fragile group that's ready to crack. And if we pressure them, if we make it difficult for them, they're going to break. That's what Vancouver's going to be. They're going to be licking their chops with that. They're going to, their skill players are going to say, hey, let's play a hard game. Let's make this hard for the Edmonton Oilers, and they're going to implode. So for the Edmonton Oilers, it's going to be, finding the counter to that, which is let's bring a hard game of our own. Let's bring that aggressive game of our own. And I don't know if we're going to see it, Tom. I hope we're going to see it. I've just been hoping every night that tonight's the night that the turnaround starts. But you're going to face a very hungry, very disciplined, very aggressive Vancouver Canucks team, which have been teams that Edmonton has traditionally the last couple of years struggled against, and this year isn't any different. So it's going to be an interesting one. Edmonton's going to have to absolutely bring it. They're going to have to actually bring that passion, bring that intentionality, and get rid of that passivity that has been plaguing their game.
10 games of passive play for the most part has been painful, certainly in Oil Country. Cass, as always, fantastic analysis. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care of the girls who are a little bit under the weather, and get yourself up to 100% as well.
I'll get there eventually. I'll get there. I'm not going to lie to you though, like McDavid, and say I'm 100% because I'm not. But I will get there eventually.
We'll get you there, buddy. We'll get you there by Monday. See you later, Cass.
See you guys.
All right, that was Matt Kassian, our game analyst, joining us for the first 50 minutes of the pre or post game show. So good stuff there from Cass. We're fortunate enough to have Joaquin Gage with us now, and we also want you to send in your text 780-218-9999 or via the Nasty Chat, man. The Nasty Chat is rocking right now. People are pissed off, and we heard from Connor McDavid. We saw Connor McDavid. Now we're going to get to Brett Kulak inside the Oilers locker room and hear from the Oilers blue liner.
There right now that it's not working for you guys.
Obviously they're banging in too many rebounds and loose pucks in the net, but I think it even starts before that. We got to be cleaner when we got the puck in our stick, an opportunity to make the breakout pass, so I think it kind of starts from there. And then it was just obviously you isolate the weak plays around the net and what happens immediately before the goal, but it builds up before that too that we need to clean up.
This is the same group that had a lot of success last year, and everyone's talking about they feel that this group can get out of this. What's it going to take to get out of this for you guys?
The belief's there. We're a good team, and we've proven that. It's not like we're just sitting back and saying it, and we've never had any results. We know the job can get done in here, and it's just a matter of building on that and keep working for the guy next to you and keep that faith in him and trust he's going to keep working and do his job and bring his best the next game. And that's what we got to do. We got to move on and focus on next game now. It's over. Each individual we've made mistakes, and you look yourself in the mirror and clean it up and be better for next game.
How are you guys doing in here in terms of accountability with one another and making sure the standard is where it needs to be? How's the group functioning through all of this?
It's tough. Anyone you talk to who works in any sort of team atmosphere, when things aren't going good, you start the negatives are isolated and everyone's hard on each other. But that's actually that's good in the room. Like guys are pushing each other, and guys know they personally need to be better too. So it's coming from a good place, and I think that's important. It's not guys are harping on each other and being hard on each other, beating each other down. We got to push each other to get better out of each other.
From a defensive standpoint, the goal was to try and tighten that up this year, and it's just gone so far the other way. How big does the fix feel here?
Yeah, it's pretty isolated right now as a major weak point for sure. But like I touched on earlier, it's you always focus on the second before the puck goes in the net or whatever. But I think it stems earlier in that, different plays coming into our own zone, and once we get it, making the first clean play. So I think those are areas we got to look at.
Can you say that time is a factor in the first week of November, or is this kind of exaggerated?
No, 100%. There's tons of hockey left, like we say, but it's every team is so good. It's not easy to start racking up 8 wins in a row or something. So time is definitely a factor.
Okay, there's Brett Kulak. Pretty sincere, Gager. Pretty sincere, and in a situation like this, he talked about the frustration is there in the room, but nobody's harping on each other too bad. Like, what's your sense of what we heard there from Brett Kulak?
It sounds like a team that knows they know how good they can be, but somewhere along the line they forgot what that takes each game in, game out. You try to look at different things when obviously we're comparing years previous to this year, and you don't want to do that too much because it's a brand new season. But I look back and look at the Oilers' power play, how it was able to get them out of jams a lot of the time, just being so dominant and not always just scoring, Tommy, but basically having the puck in the offensive zone for 2 minutes, wearing down the other team. We saw a power play 2 out there that was like, what bizarro world am I in? And scoring a goal tonight.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my, and what a lift that would have given you. I'm like, oh my gosh, they got power play 2 out there, getting the lead. And what happens the next shift, Tommy? Like that should have lifted that team where they win that next draw and go right back at the other team, where you see I'll say a passive play by Darnell Nurse with one of the most talented hockey players on the planet, giving him time and space to think, oh, what can I try to do here? Do I like the first goal? No. A wraparound, you should be able to get it, but I do understand it where early in the game you want to make sure that he's not scoring from that angle, right? But he gives him leeway because you watch the next play, you see Darnell Nurse play right up against him and doesn't give him anything. Why doesn't he do that first? Like it's so tentative. Like, what's that? Any Given Sunday, when Al Pacino just says, "Go out there, play, go make mistakes, make the biggest, but don't get caught like in that no man's land."
Right?
Like, I'll live with the big mistakes, but just show me that you're trying to do something. And look, Darnell Nurse should know better at this point. That's 9 years. He knows who he's going up against, and that shows me that his confidence level is nowhere close to where it needs to be for a pillar on the Oilers' blue line.
Couple of texts via the nasty chat coming in. Ian says, if there is leadership in the room, somebody needs to shut the door and scream at these overpaid prima donnas. I feel like there's probably been some yelling, it seems like. And then Carmen says, Gager, that goal is on Campbell. No more excuses for him. He is toast. You're in the goaltender fraternity, and I think Carmen's pretty upset right now. But I did not like that first goal. And again, we're talking about a night where the Oilers give up 5, but some of those goals were just too easy for the Preds.
Hey, look, I said I don't like the goal, but I do understand it, where you have a very skilled player in Forsberg coming down on you, but it is on Campbell. I'm not saying that, but Darnell Nurse could have done a little bit more to make him not feel like he could do whatever he wanted to in that situation, in my mind, watching it live. So, yeah, Campbell, he made a great save on Nyquist later, took a goal away. at the end of the period to keep it 1-1. I love that situation, but then you start the period and allow a goal in the first minute. Again, it's I don't know what is happening with this team where they're not prepared to play in the most crucial moments of a game.
Yeah, 23 seconds into that second period. And, I think you heard the frustration there from Brett Kulak talking about mistakes compounding. Gager, you alluded to it with the light play, the room being given, and then Campbell also not cutting over to the side. So these mistakes keep compounding. Clearly, they know about it. Whether or not they do anything about it, they get another chance on Monday. But I don't think there's a lot of hope for this group right now because they certainly can't put it together. And they're scratching their heads going, what the hell just happened? Okay, we're going to hear from Jay Woodcroft, and we're going to get some final thoughts from Gager and myself, and YouTube Trev will also give us the player of the game. Let's hear from head coach Jay Woodcroft.
Would stand out for you today?
Well, we lost the game. That's number one. I thought we started well, scored a goal on a power play with a different unit, which is a good sign for us. Didn't love the fact that we gave up a goal on the next shift. We scored a goal in the second period on the power play again. In the next shift, we took a penalty. So that's not a good sign for our group. The shift after a goal, whether you score it or you give it up, is an important one. I thought we lost a lot of puck battles today. Didn't like that. Didn't like seeing that. I thought our puck play wasn't good enough today. To a man, not good enough from everybody.
How is this team shaken out of its funk? Because, we're hearing the same thing. We need to be better. We know how to get out of this. We know that we're a good team, but you come up here and it's just, we didn't get this, we didn't get that. Like, when is this team, do you think, or what's it going to take for this team to push through and be who they want to be?
Well, we're very clear that when you're in a funk or you're in it up to your knees, the only way forward is to stick together. So that's number one, stick together and work your way through it. But it's about addressing parts of the game, like the ones I just mentioned, that have to be cleaned up. We're aware that for us to win, right now it has to be on the defensive side of things, not on the offensive side.
With that focus on defending, you talk about losing puck battles. How concerning is it for you that talking about losing puck battles to a degree that you're not happy, considering the situation you're in, that has to feel pretty concerning. And what does it tell you about this group?
Well, we weren't good enough today with that. I thought we gave up a couple goals specifically right at the net. Not a good sign for us. That's an area that we have to control a lot better. So that's a lost puck battle in that area. I thought there were a couple of chances and goals we gave up that were off the rush. Another concern for our group. Those are areas that we'd like to clean up. We're working at it.
It's 7 games for Draisaitl without a goal. It's 5 now with McDavid. And I know it's a team thing, but these guys have led the charge for a long time. What are you seeing in the play of those two?
Well, you're going to those two, and like you said, they've led the charge for a long time. I think they're no different than the rest of our group. We're underperforming as a group right now. We haven't performed to our internal expectation. Forget about the outside noise, but our internal expectation is to perform at a better rate than we are right now. So they're like the rest of us. We're in this together. They can play better. Our whole team can play better. And we can perform better as a group, which we haven't yet.
Do you view it as corners being cut, frustration? What do you view the difference being?
No, I don't think we have people that are cutting corners, but I don't think we're performing at our standard. We have a standard of play, a standard of that we work towards, and today we fell well short of that standard.
Just a thought on Jack Campbell's game today. I know you would have liked him to make a couple big saves for you guys, especially when you guys were up there. Just a thought on what you saw out of him and how you feel his game is coming around.
Yeah, Jack's wearing the same jersey as the rest of us. As I said, I thought our group underperformed today. You know, he made some big saves. He made a big save at the end of the first period there. But for us to come out of this, I think Rob called it a funk. But for us to come out of it, we need everybody. We need everybody giving a little bit more. There's more there. We know it. We've seen it. But right now, we haven't performed anywhere near to the level that we're capable of.
As a staff, is there anything you guys can do, or is this something that you hope the players kind of work and figure out themselves?
No, I think, you know, as I said to you in this room before, we're in it with our players. There is no, it just has to come from them. It is collectively finding a way to solve a problem. And right now, you know, as I said, we're in it with our group. No finger pointing here. We understand that we've underperformed. We can play better. We know it. And we're going to work until we find the answer.
Jay, when you went through a similar stretch last season, you had started pretty good and your team had felt a little bit of mojo, whereas you haven't really had that yet this year. Confidence-wise, do you sense it's tough on your group that they haven't found it yet this season? Right off the top, it went like this?
Well, I think last year we started 2-3, but we ended that segment 7-3. And then we went 3-7 the next segment. So I do believe there's ebbs and flows to a regular season, but I don't think anybody penciled us in to start where we've started here. That's not good enough. We have, as I said, a standard or an expectation, and we're well below that right now. In terms of finding a groove, you know, this is the National Hockey League. It's the National Hockey League. It demands your best on a daily basis. And for us, we were far short of our expectation today.
There's Jay Woodcroft, not hiding from anything, Gager, and nor does he really, but and not willing to throw anybody under the bus, including his goalie and his leaders. I thought that was the most composed we've seen him after a loss in the last couple of weeks. I know, you know, after the win against Calgary at the Heritage Classic, everyone was pretty pumped up. Everyone was pretty happy, but you know, he's saying it. Everybody needs to be better, and I don't disagree. I don't think anybody disagrees. Do you take anything out of what we heard from Jay Woodcroft, or is there anything that stands out to you there?
I like a coach that says we're in it together. You know, I'm sure there's individual conversations that are being had that we're not privy to that are probably a little more intense. But for the most part, Tommy, I'm just happy that he reiterated a lot of things that I just said. So it shows that I know what I'm talking about. So that's good. But no, it's up to the guys in the room. You know, we hear all the other stuff that the front office, the guy. When it boils down, sometimes these types of slumps can really galvanize a group. We've seen it in other markets. You look out east to the Leafs when the media is on them because they get all. I think the term is pissy towards the media.
Yes,
I think that as a group, the Oilers need to become more pissy and use the anger of the community to fuel themselves to perform better. You know, there's other things that you can do in that case, but let's face it, anything. I'm just throwing something out. Something needs to change to get the internal motivators to a man. The Edmonton Oilers. They need to get those RPMs up a little bit more.
Man, just get them out of burying the needle at zero. That's what it feels like. A couple of texts via the nasty chat, then we'll get the player of the game, and then we'll say goodbye. This one from Barbershop Window says, blah, blah, blah. Same old crap, different day. Gord says, Jay says the same crap every time. And then another one says, work through it. Find an answer. On to the next one. Blah, blah, blah. That's from
Well, what do you want him to say?
I know. There's not like he's not going to go and rip into them. And then Trevor says that's the insanity definition, saying the same thing. So he's a guy, and we know Jay. He's going to be irritatingly consistent in not throwing his team on the bus. He did say that everybody needs to be better. They haven't played up to their standard. I don't think there's really much, Gager, he could say that will appease people at this point, or when the team loses and fans of the team are mad. We're getting some of that. Now I'll read this one. We'll both answer it, and even Trev, if he wants. Text comes in and says, "Can you honestly say whether or not you truly believe there will be a turnaround? What is your honest opinion?" I'll go first. I thought if they lost this game, I said it yesterday on the oil stream, I would jump off the bandwagon. Does that mean I don't think that they can turn it around this year? No, I still think that they can. They're going to have a monster next 10 games. But man, the hope is dwindling, and all of that hype going into this year about this team is basically out the window. So do I truly believe there will be a turnaround? Not as much as I did yesterday, and especially with another listless performance like this. Gager, how about you?
No, at the moment, Tommy, I'm not very optimistic about this team, but they haven't given me anything to show me that there's something there, right? Like both wins came against these Nashville Predators that came into this game knowing they had to play at a certain level to be successful, and they didn't. They weren't world beaters by any means. They took what the Oilers gave them.
Yeah.
I do think they played a great game against the Calgary Flames. Flames aren't firing on all cylinders, but they weren't allowed to feel comfortable in that game. I worry about the level of play that's required to be successful in the NHL is not even close. I've said it before. The Oilers seem to me they want to be a perimeter team that plays a men's league type style and outscore their problems. It's not difficult to play against the Edmonton Oilers. There's no physical presence at all, and that's troubling. Do I think they can turn it around? Yes, but at this point, if I'm going to take stock in what I've seen, they're a wild card team.
Yikes!
At best.
Yikes! Okay, we're going to get to YouTube. Trev here with the player of the game and then his thoughts as well, brought to you by Damon Bunting, Remax Elite. Damon Bunting, consistent, top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current one. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out on DamonBunting.com or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. YouTube, Trev, the floor is yours, pal.
Oh, nice. How's it going, boys? Gager. Yeah. Gager, I was watching the game, and I'm hurting a little bit today, but I closed my eyes during the intermission, and then I just hear a beautiful voice. I'm like, I know this voice. And I saw you. That's so cool. That was the best part of the game. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's all you, man. So, okay, player of the game. You guys totally crushed it when you said that Warren Foegele was, the best Oiler, but I obviously cannot go with any Oiler. The player of the game was not wearing blue tonight. He was wearing yellow. He's the center for the Nashville Predators, Ryan O'Reilly. Really good night, 3 goals. Any time you get a hat trick, yeah, nothing wrong with that. So 3 goals, 1 assist, +3. He looked pretty good. That line's pretty good. Forsberg, it's a solid first line. So he's actually on pace. I was looking. He's on pace to having a career year right now. He's 11 games played and 11 points. Never was known as a point per game player, but he's coming out of the gate pretty hot right now. So Ryan O'Reilly, solid player. We all know it. He is unfortunately the player of the game.
Nicely done, YouTube, Trev. That brought to you by Damon Bunting, Remax Elite. Go visit Damon Bunting at DamonBunting.com or Damon Bunting Real Estate on Instagram if you're looking to buy or sell your home. A couple of texts to wrap up. This one says, "Hey, Tommy, Gage, from what little I've been able to watch this season so far, it seems at times that they're not playing with enough heart. When Gagner scored against the Stars the other night, it was literally the most life I've seen from the group, and that was just one player." That's from Prairie Boy in Newfoundland. Yeah, I'm with you. Pillman says, "Thanks, boys. You always make me feel less crazy because you make sense. Have a fantastic night." Appreciate that, Pillman. Bring in Gerard Gallant, someone else says. And then Stubaka gets this last word. Says, "Anyone else sick of saying and hearing to a man the last month or so to any media folks who started using it?" I don't know, Gager. I haven't started using to a man. It's not really one of my go-tos, but we heard a lot of it there from Jay Woodcroft. So
Yeah, I mean, if you really look at it too, Ryan O'Reilly scored 4 goals tonight. So
Yes, he did. Oh my goodness. Oh, if the pad stack would have worked, it would have been all for naught anyway, because that first shot went in. I
Yeah.
appreciate the pad stack. Gager, I appreciate you hopping on. Thank you for stopping by. I'm ready to have a beer after everything we've just gone through together over the last 70 or so minutes. And good job to YouTube, Trev, grinding through a tough Saturday for him. The kid just turned 25, so nicely done, YouTube, Trev. And a huge thank you to everyone who watched, who listened, for texting in, getting in the nasty chat. You know, we appreciate you. So smash that thumbs up button if you're still watching. We really can appreciate that too. And subscribe if you want to and haven't yet. So with that being said, Oil Country, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Please don't let the loss get to you too badly. There's a lot of weekend left. So with that, I say have a good night. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. And for Gager, Cass, and YouTube Trav, I'm Tom Gazzola saying ciao for now.